and family, thank you so much for joining me today. And if you're new, I appreciate you joining the family. Subscribe. Now, this is about to be a super long video, so get you some snacks, get you just chill, get real comfortable, because we're about to dive deep on the 12th house placements. So, the 12th house in itself is one of my favorite houses because it's like it's that unseen, you know what I mean? Like it's the house that really has to do. I got my notes right here, so if y'all see me looking, I got my notes. Okay, so 12th house is ruled by Pisces, so it has that Piscean energy. If you're a Pisces, or you might have heavy Pisces in your chart, you might still even resonate with some of these things, even though you may not have a planet in there, or you only have one planet, or whatever the case may be. You still might resonate with these things if you have heavy Pisces energy, okay? Is this house is all about healing. With most of these things that I'm going to tell you guys, first of all, I'm going to be telling you the extremes and the extreme lows as well, and in the in-between. So I don't want you guys to take these things as like, oh my God, like, oh my God, I'm scared. Like, I hope I don't, you know what I mean? No, take these things and utilize it to your benefit. And when I say utilize it to your benefit, what I mean is that when you know your strengths and you know your weaknesses, then your weaknesses turn into your strengths. And if you know that these are things that are happening to you, like for me, when I learned about my 12th house placement, everything, it really helped a lot of things in my life click. Okay, because I have Pluto there. And at first when I had my birth chart, it was wrong. And when I got it the right way, I was like, wow. And I looked up, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to go really deep about the Pluto because that's what I have, and I could really just talk to you about it. But these things are here to help us. These things are not to hinder us. A lot of people, I even know one of my family members, soul family members on Instagram commented, and she was just like, oh, I'm scared what it's going to be like. No, it's not to be scared. Like, this is, especially with this being hidden, a lot of these things are going on in our subconscious and we don't know it. And it's like, if we knew it, then we could be able to connect and unlock a lot of things. Okay, so yeah, so this is just, knowledge is power. Okay, so let's just jump in. All right, so healing, hidden enemies. So at first when people would say this, I would like, hidden enemies, like, what do they mean by that? Because it's like, yeah, okay, hidden enemies make sense, but it's still like, what? So excuse me, y'all, I'm getting over whatever is going on. But basically, people coming to test you, test your patience, or test your will, or offload their baggage onto you and expect you to save them in these situations. So when I say hidden enemies that comes up for some of the placements, it's really dealing with making sure that you have boundaries, okay? Because if you have correct boundaries and you know these things right here that I'm about to tell you, you can deal with that in a better way. This is the only house that you can't see. That's what we talked about earlier. The hidden things. It represents the unconscious mind. So like, for instance, like the Neptune, if you have Neptune placement, like a lot of these things that I'm going to be telling you guys, you may already know in your subconscious, because Neptune is super, super, like, it rules over Pisces. So it's, you know, it's where it needs to be. So you could possibly even know most of these things, and it's like almost like a refresher for you. But it's like you didn't know you knew it, but it was in your subconscious. Like, it's deep. It's deep. Okay. All right. So where am I at? Okay. So yeah, represents unconscious mind. You can't see it. So you want to consciously understand and be aware to the 12th house energy so you can activate it in this lifetime. Okay. Because it will affect you anyway, whether you acknowledge it or you don't, it's gonna affect you. It's affecting you right now. And if you haven't reached like the age of 28, between 35, you really could be going through a lot of struggles and you don't know why. You know what I mean? Like early 20, like the 20s, you could be going through a lot of struggles right now and you don't even know why. And it could be dealing with your 12th house placement. Okay, so then also, if you know it, you'll be able to, because it will affect you anyway. So you want to know to avoid the stress of it. And then once you know, like I said earlier, once you're aware, you can heal it. Okay. It represents past life, mother and womb experiences, illusions, fantasy, delusions, the metaphysical, the spirituality world, esoteric. If you have a lot of planets here, it really helps you to understand the energy. If you have like a stellium in your 12th house, like you're probably super spiritual, super intuitive. Like you just have this all knowing, okay? Now, I'm not going over stelliums in this video. I'm going to do another video. This is specifically just planets. The next one I'm going to do is like if you have Chiron, True Node, and stelliums and things like that. This shows how you get your spiritual messages from your ancestors as well. Okay, so first is the sun. If you have the sun in your 12th house, it has to do with your sun, or it has to do with your identity, who we are. Our sun is who we are in our head, like who we are showing ourselves. The sun. Think of your sun sign, who you really are. The ego as well is going to be here, and it's uncovering who they really are, and really learning the ins and outs of themselves. So because this is a hidden placement, I need another pillow, y'all. Hold on for my back. Okay. Yes, I like to sit on the floor. It's just comfortable to me, and it just feels like anyway. Okay, so yeah, so the sun. You'll be uncovering who you really are because it's hidden. It's your sun sign. So it's like you're constantly going to be uncovering who you are, figuring out yourself, learning things about yourself. Really just kind of like for a while, probably like I'm not going to say specifically, but that age range, especially like your 20s, like you're going to be really learning who you are, figuring out what you like, and you're going to be like, wow, like it's a lot of hidden things that you might find out about yourself. And it's just like, you're like, wow, I didn't know that. Like, but it's gonna be good, okay? Shows your father in your life as well. With your son, and wherever your chart is gonna show about your father. But when it's in the 12th house, you could have had a hard relationship with your father, or your father could have, like, it just could have been maybe a divorce with your mom, difficult situations, or maybe it wasn't a hard relationship, but you really wanted to connect deeper with your father and you weren't able to. Maybe it was a situation where you had a lot of brothers and sisters, or even just you just wasn't, or he worked really hard, but you wasn't really able to connect with him. Also, your father really could have had a deep spiritual, connected to spirituality really deep, and had a lot of different dreams and wishes that he wanted to fulfill. Also too, like even though you may not have had like the physical, being able to really physically spend a lot of time with your father, you're deeply connected to him, okay? Oh, excuse me. Also too, in the beginning stages, you might have a hard time figuring out who you are in this lifetime, because it's like you're constantly going to be figuring out new things about yourself. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like with our sun, like my sun and things like that, in different houses, it takes a different energy. So for you, it's like you're constantly going to be learning new things about yourself and evolving. So you guys like to isolate, and if you don't, it could be very beneficial for you. So you can really sit with yourself and really understand and think things through, instead of doing it around others and being influenced. Like you need to take time to see what it is, like brainstorm and stuff by yourself, think about things by yourself, and spend that time. With this sun here, you guys have a lot of gifts. You can have a lot of hidden talents. You could be a spiritual leader, writer, movie director, actor. Many people might take your kindness for weakness, when in reality you're extremely strong. So because your sun is hidden, your ego and things like that are hidden, you guys are not superficial at all. You guys value real connection, real love. You know what I mean? You guys value real things in life that matter, not superficial things and things that are like material. But because of that, people will think that, you know, like that you're weak or whatever the case may be, but it's only because your strongness is hidden. So you guys have to be careful to make sure that you build really strong boundaries and don't let people take advantage of your kindness with the sun right there, because it's like you have really good, you have a really good heart with your sun right there. You have a really, especially with the spirituality aspect, you know, you believe in things doing good and you get good, but people will take that for advantage. So you have to make sure that you build those boundaries with your sun right there. Also, you may have haters that you can't decipher who it is. So like, you may know, and you have this all sense and knowing, and you know that it's some weird energy going on. You know that it's something that's not resonating with you, but you may not be able to pinpoint like who it is that's actually fake, or who it is that you don't need to be dealing with. Like, so that's why it's really important that you guys take that time alone to ponder on things, build your intuition up, and really understand like who you are as a person and what you want to accept. And you know what I mean? Naturally, you will start to attract those that's for you. But that's why you have to learn yourself first. Also, you could suppress yourself in relationships as well. Relationships, friendships, and things like that, because you can take on other people's, before you actually get to the knowing of who you are, you could take on other, like 1111, you can take on other people's energy because you're just that loving energy in you. But you have to be aware of that. That's why you have to learn yourself first, because in relationships you could get lost and wanting to give to your partner and wanting to do for them and put in their needs first, and then for them to in turn not do the same for you. So that's why the boundaries have to be set. Also, you guys also really desire to be recognized with that placement right there. You could have had, like, when you were kids, like, you may have not been the one that was as recognized and things like that. So you search for that because your sun is in your 12th house. It's the hidden. It's hidden. So it's like you search for that recognize. You want people to see you and things like that. But it's more so like, if you learn yourself first, you, like I said from the beginning, and I'm gonna be reiterating things so I can get my point across. I just hope I don't sound like I'm saying the same thing over and over again. But yeah, like, you're gonna have to really know yourself and learn yourself, because it's so much about you that will be hidden, and it's so many gems and things like that will be hidden to you, and because it's in your subconscious. Okay. You guys will have super healing powers. And you have to go on your spiritual journey with this placement. You really have to go on your spiritual journey, because it's like, that's where your sun is. That's where you're gonna thrive. Like, healers, priests, things like that is where you're gonna really thrive at. Also with this placement, people will seek you for your healing. So that's why you have to build those boundaries, because they could be taking advantage of your healing energy and draining you, and you won't even realize it. You just think you're being nice, or you think you're doing this, but they know, they see the energy, because first and foremost, everything happens on the spiritual as it happens on the physical. So people are gonna see your energy even if you don't know it. You know what I mean? Like with me with my 12th house placement, like, before I knew how powerful my energy was, I would give it away too easy. I would waste it, and it's just like, then I'm left empty, or I'm left with somebody else's energy, and you don't know why you have it. Grand Rising, hey, thank you. But yeah, so that's why you have to really be careful with your sun right there, because people are going to try to take advantage of your energy. You have to find ways to balance it, meditation, and things like that. Also, with the sun in the 12th house, you could have had to parent your own parents. So in moments, even as an adult, like through your whole life, you have moments where you have to parent your own parents and things like that. And it's just like, you may not understand it, but it's just like, you have that gift. It's a blessing, really, you know? Like, that sun there is really illuminating that area. Y'all see that net? Get out of here. And then also, you definitely could have went through a lot in your life, and especially at the early parts of your life with your sun in your 12th house, you could have went through a lot of hard things that people didn't understand, even especially with the parents. Like, your parents, it just could have been a hard life from the beginning, and you had to really just kind of grow up fast and things like that. Now, keep in mind that some of these things may resonate, some may not. But even if you don't know, like, even though you don't know, it could have happened when you were a kid and you don't even remember it, or, you know what I'm saying? So that shadow work will help with that too. Also, the last thing about the sun in the 12th house. So you guys can have, like, otherworldly dreams. So, like, you can have dreams, and it's just like, what? And then you'll wake up like, where am I at? Like, what the heck? You could really feel like you were in your dream, like just like a deja vu type of moment. Like you could feel deeply connected, like almost as in like your dream may seem more real than real life. Like, so yeah, that's gonna be the sun in the 12th house. Now the next one is gonna be Mercury in the 12th house. Now this is a placement. My son has this placement. You can really tap into people and read people's minds. Also, my son, he sees auras. He can read auras. You guys can really see energy really, really well. Like, as others it may be, like for me, like I like meditate, get ready, you know what I'm saying? But my son is just like, boom, he can read auras. Exact. And you guys can really like, and if you have this placement and you're like, I can't read minds. No, yes you can. You think you can. You may think you can't, but you can read through people, and then they may lie to you and say something else, but you can read through people. You can't really communicate with other people all the time because you need time to yourself to filter through all your thoughts. Now, Mercury, we know Mercury is all about communication. It's all about you know, we go in Mercury retrograde, communication, relationships, things like that. With Mercury being in the 12th house, you have to take time alone. Like, especially with my son, he's very independent. He likes his space. He needs to be alone because they're constantly getting these spiritual downloads. It's constantly like, they're constantly getting these spiritual downloads and they're trying to see what it means. And they talking to the spiritual realm and they just like, you know what I mean? Like, but you won't know this when you look at them. You just look at them and be like, you know, they're just there. They're just quiet or whatever the case may be. But no, they're in the spiritual, doing stuff, figuring stuff out in the 5D. Like that is Mercury right there, okay? Where was I at? That's what I said too as well. Communicators, you also can communicate very well in the spiritual realm. Like when it comes to talking to your ancestors, tapping into those type of energies, you could do that very well. Hearing, just like just really getting downloads that other people cannot get, you guys get on a day-to-day basis. It's something that you guys don't even have to get yourself in alignment for, or none of that. Like you naturally get your downloads and things like that. Also, you'll be really good at writing, poetry. Hate to be pushed to make decisions. Now this is true. I'm a Virgo sun, so like a lot of times I can be very orderly with my son. But when I looked at this placement, I really had to learn how to slow down because it's not that, like with this Mercury placement, it's not that you guys are moving slow because you don't know or whatever the case may be. It's like you're moving slow because it's so much going on in your mind that like you're not really here. Like you're here, but you're not really here. There's a lot of stuff going on in your mind. So you really have to be careful with that placement and kind of let the people know around you, don't be so hard on me. Give me a little space. I'm not doing this because I'm trying to be rude or irritated. It's because I have so much going on. Like, again, we have to build those boundaries. So for you guys, it's more so of, you guys need a lot of time alone. So you guys have to really build healthy boundaries so that you can be able to tap into your downloads and really decipher what it is that Spirit is trying to tell you. Do better solving things alone. I said that. Esoteric viewpoints. You guys really like see things on a spiritual aspect. Like you don't really look at the mundane too much. Excuse me. You think about magical and mystical things, fantasy and things like that. You guys too have to challenge yourselves to not so much be in the spiritual realm, and bring yourself back to the the 3D. Like bring yourself back here. Come here, talk with us, enjoy us for a little bit, and then go ahead and go back in y'all little hole. You guys can come off shy, but you guys are really not shy. It's just that you have a lot going on. Highly spiritual and not really into the reality like that. I just told you guys that. That's why you have to challenge yourself to come back down to our level, okay? Usually you guys don't like to be put on the spot. You have to be careful with, oh, you and Roman have the same placement, period. You guys have to be really careful with escapism. So this is what we were talking about earlier too. This is the house of escapism. So escapism could be like overly sexual, overly wanting to smoke, overly wanting to drink. Like in those moments, because you guys need to be alone, it's like sometimes being alone will make you depressed too. Like sometimes it'll make you like sometimes it just feel really heavy on you. So you have to kind of find that balance, and don't let the balance be like over drinking or over smoking or over sexual desires and things like that. Also, you guys can travel to different realms in your mind. Um, your past life, you could have been a big talker and communicator. And that's why in this life you're challenged to listen. You're challenged to listen and learn in this life. The last lifetime you could have really just been communicating and just doing a lot of talking. You could have been a public figure. A lot like with this placement, you really could have been like a public figure, a civil rights activist or something like that in the past life. So it's like this life, now you're challenged to listen, to learn, to take downloads and be quiet and listen to what Spirit's telling you. And really, you guys have a lot of daydreams, vivid dreams. Like my son, his dreams are so strong. Like you guys have really strong dreams, especially because Mercury's right there. So it's just like they're communicating with you. That this is what it's all about. The spiritual realm is trying to communicate with you. Also, you guys have good discernment. You're good listeners. You guys really have to trust your intuition and know that like nobody can tell you nothing about your intuition. If you feel something, trust your intuition. Like with this placement, don't let anybody talk you out of trusting what you already know and your intuition that you believe. Look at me glowing, okay? I'm trying to get in focus, but I guess we can keep the glow. All right, so then you have to bring your subconscious mind into your conscious mind. Hey, baby. You have to bring your subconscious mind into your conscious mind. So because you're so over spiritual and you're up here and you're thinking about these things, these deep downloads and things like that, you have to really ground yourself and bring yourself back into your conscious mind to make sure that you are still here living in this reality, getting things done, paying your bills, doing the regular stuff, like where those things don't matter to y'all. Y'all not thinking about the regular things. Y'all think about all the spiritual stuff, or even too, like you guys like to know how things happen, how things work. Like my son asked me the other day, so was the ocean or the sky made first? Like, what? Like, what? Like, but it be deep stuff like that y'all be thinking about. Like, y'all be trying to figure out things and how they work. And it's like an analytical type of mind about different things. Let me get something to drink. Hold on, y'all. Now, with this placement as well, you have to really be careful for people trying to take advantage of you because you're so quiet and just kind of like not really sharing a lot. You may just be talking on regular surface level type of conversation. People may try to take advantage of you. So be very careful with that and really just have discernment and look at the people around you and make sure that they are, you know, not trying to do things in a conniving, sneaky way. Yeah, we talked about that. You guys definitely benefit from a spiritual journey as well. My son, he went to this one daycare, and when he was really young, and like they taught them how to meditate, and when they taught him how to meditate, it was like he was like 2 years old and he would just go outside meditate. I think I even posted a picture one time. Like, I didn't teach him that. They taught him that, and it stuck with him, and he meditates all the time. Also too, probably not good at working regular jobs. Regular jobs are not for you guys. You guys are just overly spiritual. You guys have to do things that are more so different. Like I said earlier, writing poetry, maybe even writing fantasy things. Like do things that challenge your mind to where you can bring those beautiful downloads in your mind and put them on paper or bring them out, maybe tell stories. And like you guys will really benefit from that. People will want to hear the things that you guys want to talk about. I'm trying to get it more in focus. Oh well. All right, so now Pluto in the 12th house. Now this is my placement, and I'm gonna be able to really just attest. If that net come my face one more time, I'm gonna really be able to attest to these things right here. Okay, now, you're with the Pluto in the 12th house. So the karmic houses are the 12th house, the 8th house, and I think the 4th house. Don't quote me on the 4th house though, but those are like the karmic houses. Definitely the 8th and the 12th. So with the Pluto in the 12th house, 8th house aspects can be hidden. Now the 8th house is about relationships. So for us, we definitely can get into relationships and not see the person for who they are. I'm gonna go deeper though. But like it could be an illusion where we're creating. Exactly. But it could be an illusion where we can create a better, because this placement, you naturally see the good in people, okay? And when I seen that, I was just like, that is so true about me. Like, I naturally see the good in people, and that is this placement. You have to be really careful with that, because we naturally just see the good in people. We naturally see it, and it's just like everybody doesn't deserve. Hold on. Okay, that's a little bit better. All right, because I'm like, it's about to glow me out. Like, can we see what I look like? But yeah, so also a very mystical, magical, spirituality placement. With this placement, you have to be really careful with repressed energy. I can attest to this, like, growing up younger, like in school. And also they say with this placement that now this is about what you believe, depending on what you believe. But I can attest to this in my life, and I definitely feel like it's true in my life. But they say that this placement, you come into this life with a dark shadow on you. And like when I was in school, I used to tell my mom, I'm like, I don't know what it is. I want to listen. I want to do what y'all telling me to do, but it's just something else in me that's just like, hell no, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do. Like, and when I say that, I'm not playing, I'm not joking. Like, that was serious. Like, it was almost like I didn't have control. And that's repressed. It was repressed. So that's something that we really have to deal with that. Pluto right there is just like, you have repressed energy. Also, addictions. We can have a lot of addictive behaviors. Like, I like to smoke weed a lot. Like, things like you could drink a lot. At one point in my life, I was really, really heavily drinking. Like, this placement, you have to be really careful with the escapisms, like hard drugs, like drinking too much, just doing things to escape. We have to be super careful, because especially with this placement, like we don't feel like we're here. I know I'm here, but I don't feel like I'm here, because I'm not here to do regular things. Like, I don't feel like I really resonate with this world. Okay, so that is something that we feel like with this Pluto in the 12th house. Very secretive. That is true as well. So like, even like, I was in a 5-year relationship. That person still does not know everything and all about me. A lot of things they don't know about me, because we're very secretive. Even the closest people to a Pluto in the 12th house still don't know much about the Pluto in the 12th house. Like, honestly, like, I'm like my own best friend, because at the same time, like, people around me don't know a lot about me. We're secretive. You can easily become depressed. Because we have such strong, our emotions and feelings and everything that we have going on is so strong. So either it's strongly in the positive realm, or strongly can be low vibrational and depressed and feel like we just all alone and we just want to just forget it type of energy. Okay, so we have to be careful with that. Very private. We find it hard to expose ourselves to anyone, because we have this like, we just have this deep loyalty, this deep love. So when we actually do give people love and we do open up, and then they do something wrong, it's just like, all hell about to break loose. Okay, you want to fucking cut their head off. Also, extremely sexual, intense relationships. So this is one of the placements that our sex, people with this placement, sex is really, 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 really good. Like, when this placement, the Neptune, and a few more, but with this placement too, it says that this is our last lifetime. Like, we're living our last lifetime. We didn't live Pluto through all of our lifetime. So it's like we didn't reincarnated so many different times that now it's like we know so much. And not even just that on that aspect, but too like we know a lot, like spiritually, just mentally, we know a whole lot, and we don't really have to research much. We just naturally have it in our subconscious mind, like the Neptune I was telling y'all about. We're gonna get to Neptune. Also, with this placement, you can have like a lifelong partner that deceives them, or people around them that they really trust that are really deceiving, and then you might not know it. Oh, I thought try to get a little bit more light, got real. But yeah, and this is true as well, because in a lot of my relationships, it's like again, seeing the good in people. And we'll see the good and we'll be so blind to a lot of the negatives, and we'll kind of live in an illusion a little bit. And it's like when the shit hits the fan, it's just like we're exploding because we didn't see the shit. We didn't see this fake ass shit that you was doing. So now it's like that. Now that we done seen the shit, it's just like, oh hell no! But we didn't been thinking there's all this other illusions and mystical shit going on. And then when we come to find out this is what's really going on, and especially with displacement, like people with displacement can have like really strong anger, really strong blow-ups and things like that. So we really have to be careful to, like, in the unhealed aspect. That's why displacement, it's imperative with displacement that you are spiritual, tap into your spirituality, meditate, find ways to get yourself in a place of peace, okay? Also, it says with this placement, family members were likely witches. So maybe not your family members like right now that you have, but like in past lives, definitely too. Like in your last life with this placement, you definitely would have been some type of witch, into some type of spirituality. Also with this placement too, whether you're aware or not, things for us with this placement, we get a lot of karmic situations because in our past life, we were doing a lot of dark things. I'm going to go lower, but yeah. So also with this placement, you really have been through some traumatic and destructive experiences early on in life. Even just on with your birth. Like I remember my mom, when she had me, she was in 3 car accidents, and the last one was when I was born. And you come into this world already, it's just like you're already going through traumatic things from early on. And your mom may have had to feel really overprotective over you, like really just try to hold you and things like that. Even if you don't feel that, because I used to feel like my mom like victimized at things like that. We have to be careful with that in this placement too, because it's like we're really feeling things from past lives. And because we came in this world with so much that you come in this world with displacement. And it's like you really, really feel it. And sometimes it has nothing to do with this life right now, but everything to do with our past lives. You know what I mean? So you have to understand that. Where am I at? Really can be a loner. This is definitely me. Like, I love being alone. I would be alone forever if I could, but you know, we have to meet with people. That's what we came in this world to do, connect with people and meet people. And with this placement too, like once this placement heals their self, they will heal others. This placement is like you're a healer. You are going to heal others because you done went through so much dark shit and people done deceived you in your life and tricked you and fucking did all type of shit to you. Now it's like, okay, now you get it. And then also with this placement, you wonder, like you kind of question, like, why did people do this? And because when the things happen to people with this placement, we don't understand it. And I could attest to this, like all this stuff. We don't understand it because it's like, we think about how we love and how we treat people, and we think people are going to treat us like that. And then when they don't, it's like, then now we're intrigued because we want to know how people's mind work. Now we're trying to figure it out. We're trying to see, okay, this, and that. And then in turn, that makes us good counselors, healers, people. You could be even religious, things like that, super spiritual. Next, where was I at? you can find yourself sleeping with your enemy. This placement has a lot of hidden enemies. And this is true too. Like, also with this placement, we attract broken people and not even know it. And then when I seen it, I was just like, that makes sense because once I got later on in my life, I realized that I do attract people that need help, that need something, that like, you know what I mean? Like, that's something with this placement. And it's not a bad thing because once you learn your boundaries, you can help those people because that's what you came here for. And at the end of the day, if you feel like, oh, why I attract broken people? Because you're a healer, because you're not broken. So at first I was like, when I first seen it, I'm like, track broken. People like, what kind of shit is that? But it's because you're a healer and because you have the things that you have inside of you, they need it and they see your light, okay? Also, you can take on other people's traumas, pain, and problems on a heavy level. And this is true too. Like, I'm gonna keep referencing myself on this one because this is my placement, so I can really give you guys an example. But like with this placement, it's very true because in relationships and things like that, like people know around me, like if you have a problem, I have a problem. Like we're so ride or die type of energy, but we have to build those boundaries and make sure that we put those boundaries in place that yes, we're gonna be there for you, but first, as long as we're there for ourselves, then we can be there for you. Okay? Also, oh, excuse me, with the hidden enemies, like the hidden enemies is really serious with this placement. Like seriously, discernment is necessary because people naturally are going to be sending you things, and from your past life, like I said with this placement, in your past life you could have, not even could have, like you have enemies from your past life. You may have done things like different spells and things or whatever the case may be, and even killed people, all type of things like that in your past life. So in this life, the karmic debts are coming back. They're coming back, and now you have to heal from it and learn from it. So you have to be really careful about people putting spell work on you, doing magic on you behind the scenes. That is something that I deal with as well in my life. Like we know, like we have an all knowing if something feel like, if we feel like somebody's doing something on us, or and you're not tripping with this placement. If you have this placement and you feel like that, you're not tripping. It is, even if it is like you may not even know who the person is, but it's very imperative that in this lifetime that you do your protection work, do things. And also with this placement, you have to be really careful to not do too many evil workings and things like that, and make sure that everything you do is just, because you don't want to inflict and ignite that past life energy. Where am I at? Yeah, so be careful of people trying to do black magic on you. And people can, with this placement too, people can really hate you and go to extreme lengths. So you really have to make sure that you stay protected. Make sure that you're lighting your protection candles. Make sure that you're smoke cleansing your homes. Make sure that when people come into your home, because you have hidden enemies, so you don't know who the fuck is hating on you. It could be your damn family. It could be your best friend, your boyfriend, your husband, your wife. You have to cleanse your spaces, clean out the energy, bring new. You have to do those things. Even sound cleanses and on a daily basis, because these are the things that are going to be very beneficial for you, because you may not know it, but it's affecting you. And then sometimes too, you can feel stagnant and things like that, and you don't know why, but it's because somebody might be sending you negative energy. That's why you have to stay really protected with this placement. Also with this placement, you can sense hateful energy, but it's going to be hard for you to determine who exactly it is coming from, because the 12th house is hidden. Now this is very, very true too. Like I always, since I was young, I was talking about like, I don't, it feels weird. I don't feel like, I don't like their energy. Their energy is weird. And I knew it from a young age. So with this placement, you have to trust your intuition, because you're not just thinking things. It's not just like, I trust my intuition over my head. Okay, before I trust my thought, I trust my intuition. Especially with this placement, with this Pluto in the 12th house, you have to trust your intuition over anything. If you feel weird about somebody, it's because it's for real. It's for real. You shouldn't doubt it, okay? Also, this person goes to great lengths to show their love. Like I was saying earlier, like we really do love people hard. We really do love people with a love that is unwavering. It's a real love, but people can. It's hard for people to match that sometimes. So with this placement, you want to be careful too. That make sure that you're loving yourself first, and you find yourself and you heal yourself, so that when you do attract your partners, you won't attract people that are trying to hinder you or send you negative energy. Or even like I've been in a relationship and people be secretly jealous of me, men like secretly jealous of me, and it's just like I don't understand it, but it's what's on my placement. So it's like whether you understand it or not, you better get with the action, okay? And protect yourself. What's next? Also with this placement, you will be inclined to like want to help the homeless, want to really help people, and really just like when you see people and you see them going through something, you really take it on to yourself and you really feel it deeply, and you want to help people and you want to give, but make sure that it's balanced in what you're doing. Okay, so make sure that you're not over giving to where you're putting yourself at a fault. Like make sure that you're actually in a place to give and to help when you do help in these situations. Also, stay away from the love-hate relationships. We spoke about that. Like people, you be loving them and they could be hating you secretly. Be careful about that. Also, when, like I was telling you guys before with this placement, with the escapism, this placement has to be really careful with drinking and things like that, because when you guys are drinking, well, because I'm on here too, when you guys are drinking or doing a lot of these things, you can expose yourself and you could say things like, I know when I used to drink really heavy, and I was going through a hard time in my life, like it would be things that I would say and do, and I would not remember them. Like people would tell me I said these things, and I'd be like, I said what? I did what? Like, and it would be some crazy stuff. Like, and too, like I spoke about in the beginning, like the dark shadow, how we come in this world with a dark shadow on us. The first time I ever did shrooms, I physically I was telling a lot of people around me, like, I saw a dark spirit leave me. Like, I literally was right here in the same space too. And I saw a dark spirit leave my body. And after that, like, I really felt like I unlocked a healing of like something that I never even, like, I was really able to tap into my feminine side, things like that. I definitely, with this placement, recommend people do deep healings, spiritual medicines, because with this Pluto in the 12th house, you're dealing with a lot of things that you don't understand because it's hidden. You're not going to understand it. It's like, it's so deep with this placement, and it's like so much to understand. Even it took me back to childhood moments, and that's what I'm about to get into with this placement. You most likely had controlling dad, domineering type of dominant type of father, or either the father wasn't there or whatever the case may be. But if he was, normally he was dominating, he was overpowering, very structured, very strict. Yeah, let me see. Also with this placement too, you have to be careful about overreacting. That's something I dealt with too. Intense disputes, because you're so passionate about things. You can become destructive when you feel like you're being manipulated, when you feel like you're being used, when you feel like somebody's taking advantage of you. Yes, like this is like when I tell y'all, I'm gonna tell a story time on another video, because I don't want to drag it because this is my placement. But like, woo, when I used to get angry at some of people, like now I'm the person that I'm just so unbothered. There's nothing matter to me, because what everybody does to you, what everybody does to you is a reflection of them. It has nothing to do with you. And I had to really realize that. But before, it was like, oh my God, like I would just really just go crazy. And it's just like, oh my goodness. Like, no, leave that in the past. 12th house, Pluto, leave the craziness in the past, okay? Realize it's about you, okay? It's not about them. Okay, and also with this placement, we're like this because we have suffered a lot of pain. Also, too, we can have self-denial. I know, too, this is you could be even superficial. I dealt with that as well, and I really had to own, like, we can, like, how can I explain that word? We can see things from a selfish point of view. So we really have to analyze and self-reflect and really learn how to care about others and things like that, because we've been so much we done went through so much, so we only had to be there for ourselves. So it puts us in that selfishness. But it's like, no, if you build healthy boundaries, you don't have to be selfish. You can love people, build your healthy boundaries, and then you're good. You don't have to worry about being angry or going through those things with people. Okay. Could have been in abusive relationships with this placement, which is true. Was in abusive relationships. People put their hands on me. These are the masters at uncovering their true self and finding out who they really are deep down to your soul. This is true too, because I feel like that is something that really resonates with me. Like, I really found my true self. Once you heal this placement and find your true self and connect with yourself, it's just so much beautiful things that could come from it. This placement is definitely a healer placement, counselor, priest, highly spiritual. Faith, you will really need to connect with your faith, because until you do, you will feel empty. And that's very true as well. Like I said earlier too, you can be blind to your own flaws. So that's why it's important to really do that self-reflection and realize like what you're doing and how you're coming off to others, so that you're not being selfish. Also too, parents could have been aggressive in the home with this placement. Like, maybe they weren't putting their hands on each other, but they just talked aggressive, or whatever the case may be. And maybe they weren't even doing it to you, but they were doing it to each other. Even if you don't know, these things could have happened as a child and you're just not aware of it. Also too, your family could have been in financial lack, kind of like a struggle, like y'all had enough, but it was just like a lot of things that you wanted that you didn't get. We talked about that. Also too, with this placement, you have to be really careful about holding grudges, because you feel so passionately and strong about things. It's just like it just can get really dark. Okay. Two, scary dreams. Dreams can be super, super crazy. Like, I remember growing up, I used to have dreams that like rats was eating me alive, like birds was eating me alive, like crazy stuff. Like, why are you dreaming about that? Like, like what kind of dream is that? Also, too, with this placement, you can have too high standards. So not only can you have too high standards on yourself, but you can also project that energy onto others. And that's really where the illusion comes. So you can be having these high standards, and like, you'll think this person is meeting up to this because maybe they're doing this and maybe they're doing that, but behind the scenes they're cheating and they're lying. But because they're meeting these high standards that you don't like, that's not even real, you don't even see the cheating and the lying because you're in an illusion. So that's another thing too. So like, for example, you in a relationship with somebody and they have a lot of money and they're doing this for you and they taking care of you, they got your home, this and that, but they're cheating and they're lying, but you don't know that because you live in the illusion. So we have to constantly, with this placement, we have to constantly come back down, get out of fantasy, get out of illusion world, and look at stuff for what it really is, see what's going on, check, dot I's, cross T's, and C's, it adding up, okay? With this placement too, be careful of like playing mind games with people. Like, we could be very manipulative, so we have to get out of that energy because we don't want to attract that. So you don't want to give it either. Also with this one, you will have like a third eye opening experience in your life. Like, whenever it may be, you will have it. Like, whenever you start to connect with your spirituality, you will really connect on a really deep level. Ooh. Okay. So then normally with this placement, you will reach enlightenment and you will reach connectedness, and you will realize that we are ultimately nothing. This body has been borrowed. So we will realize the deepness to everything. Eventually in your life, you will realize that it's not all those superficial things you thought. It's not about all those other things. It's really about the connectedness, the oneness, and how we can come together and just love each other and be beneficial and things like that. Like, really just tap into that energy. And become the master of non-action. And that means, like I was saying before, the unbothered energy, the non-action. You'll learn how to just attract instead of trying to force, okay? feeling good will draw all good things for you. So with this placement too, it's very imperative that you play frequencies and things like that to put yourself in alignment with the vibration of feeling good, and you will free yourself from societal views. So in the beginning of your life, you really could care about being this and doing this from society standard, and eventually you'll be able to heal yourself from that and heal yourself from the superficial things and really be able to tap into what matters. Like the we're nothing for real. We're just borrowing this body type of energy, okay? And you will become a light to guide people on their journey and help them to connect to source and have peace. If that's not an example, if I'm not an example of that, like that's this placement. And if you have this placement and you're in a field where you're not doing something for others or you're not helping others or something like that, it may not be something that you really enjoy, because your purpose is a higher calling. You're here to help people. You're here to help people grow and experience and show them how they can connect with source. Also, with this lifetime, you may have experienced many deaths and rebirths and transformations. Now, of course, like the past life thing, of course you're going to die. But with this specific placement, because you have lived all these lives, because you have went Pluto 12 times around in every house, it's not about those 12 deaths. It's about all the deaths and rebirths that you've went through in those lifetimes and this one. Like, I know I've went through a lot of deaths. I just went through one a couple months ago. A death and rebirth. We're constantly dying off old ways and learning new ways and healing and becoming better people constantly with this placement. Also, you will heal people from their dark energies after you heal yourself first. Like I said, it is a dark energy with this placement. And I used to feel it even as a kid. And it's like, you're going to heal yourself. You're going to heal yourself. What I recommend is to start to meditate, to start to listen to healing frequencies, to start to learn who you are. Do some self-love. A lot of self-love things will really help with this placement. Really finding out who you are, loving yourself. Watch my Heal Yourself video. That really helps with this placement. Also with this placement, a lot of people with this placement are famous. You can really be famous. People are drawn to you. People naturally want to look at you, see you, because you're not only are you like, people don't know what you're thinking type of energy. Like, I remember too, even going through school, people used to be like, I just don't know what you're thinking. I can't look at you and tell. Like, and it gives this illusion, and people are drawn to you because of that. Also too, oh, and people that have this placement that's famous: Tina Turner, Kid Cudi, that actor, I can't think of his name, and then who else? It's a lot of people that have this placement. I think Tiger too. It's a lot of people. Yeah, and then also you might feel like you miss or long for someone you don't even know. So because you have lived so many lifetimes, and you will have like, and I definitely feel that sometimes I feel this longing or missing for something that I don't really know what it is I'm longing for. Sometimes you may attach it to your relationships in this life or whatever, but you guys will feel that longing, that like you're missing something, and you don't even know what it is. You know what I mean? And then too, what I was talking about earlier, you may not feel a part of this world. You may feel like you're just like, like you love the 5D, or you just really just not here. You just feel like all of these things in this world are really just pointless. Like they go to work, job things, da da da. That's why it's really important for this placement to find other ways to make income that include them having freedom and allowing themselves to express themselves. All right, so let's go to Mars in the 12th house. Okay, let me write down the time so I'll be able to timestamp it. 54:10. So Mars in the 12th house. Okay, so with the Mars in the 12th house, you have a warrior soul and like a fighting spirit naturally. You could be prone to being very angry. Mars is like rule of a war and things like that. You're very action oriented, very disciplined. Your willpower is very strong. You like to take action. And think about this placement. Now, you've experienced Mars in every stage through each sign in your past life. So you have an active subconscious mind, and with this placement too is a lot of repressed energy. So we talked about Pluto. We know Pluto is dark as well, and like more the malefic planets. But Mars is one of the malefic planets as well. So with Mars right here, you can have that same type of rage, but it may even be stronger with Mars right here, because it's just like this deep fight, like type of energy. Like, and you guys will feel that. um Also, a lot of hidden enemies, and we talked about that in the beginning, in the intro, about the hidden enemies, about how people can be around you and you don't know that they really hate you, or you could be in relationships with people that are really hating and jealous of you, and it's like friendships and all that, and you won't even realize it because it's hidden to you. Okay. People gossiping behind your back is something that could happen often with Mars in this placement, and you just kind of don't even realize why. Like, it's like you treat them right, you give loyalty, you get them what you think is right, and it's just like they turn around and do little undercut evil things to you, and it's like you don't know why. Um, Also, business deals. With this placement too, you want to be really careful for people trying to trick you in business deals, people trying to get over on you, because the hidden aspect of it too is like people they just want to trick you with that. Like they may say it's this and then it's something else, and then you come out to find later months down the line. Be really careful with the lies and betrayal in family relationships and partnerships, just like we talked about for Pluto, is very much apparent with this placement as well. Your family could be doing things behind your back, little secretive disputes, and talking about you, and you don't even know it, and you come into the house and you're like, why is everybody so quiet type of energy. um Also, with this placement, you have to be very careful with self-denial and about how situations actually are. You may think, like I said earlier too, you may think that it's all good, it's all love, everything's good, and then secretly these people is plotting against you, or they're doing something dirty, and it's just like by the time you figure out, now it's like now you ripping everybody's head off. Like, no, you got to really self-reflect and look at people, have discernment, and see what are their intentions. And then two, it says you guys are great with knowing how to strategize behind the scenes. When people do things to this sign, like as in Pluto, we might have just went off and go crazy and we just spaz out on you. No, with the Mars right here, y'all are gonna strategize and figure out how you can get them to where you do something to them that they don't even know you did it, and like, like y'all get deep, like y'all might play with their money or their kids or something. Like, when people mess with y'all, like y'all take it to the next level of the level of like they don't even know it was you, and then they find out it was you that did it, and it's just like real Godfather hit type of energy, like for real. Also, with this placement, you guys are willing to go to war, okay? And that's why too it's very important that this placement finds like their spirituality and really tap into their spiritual side, so they can water this down and tone this stuff down and realize where they need to put this energy into. Also too, when you feel like someone is trying to do you wrong, I always talked about that already. Like, you can really get them back in ways that they wouldn't even expect. With this placement, you could be an artist, actors, graphic designer, fashion designer, sheriffs, running jails, a dancer, working in hotels. Um, Heavy limelight, famous placement as well. With this placement, a lot of, I don't remember because I only looked up like for mines and stuff, but it's a lot of famous people that had this placement as well too. I just don't remember off the top of my head. And then, but even though these guys are like the limelight, they could be the limelight type of famous person. You really would prefer to be like behind the scenes, doing the back work and things like that. These people could also be very laid back. This is Mars in the 12th house. Mars. Also, I gotta plug my phone up. Also, with this placement, just like the Pluto, you have to be careful with the self-destructiveness, like really in the escapisms and things like that. Don't overdrink, don't overindulge in things, and like do like addict like the drugs and things like that. to cope. Like really, you guys really have to find a healthy way to cope with life, because with the malefic planets in the 12th house, it can really seem like things are. Oh, so yeah, so you have heavy placements in here. I'm gonna do a stellium video, but with those placements, like when you have heavy placements or you have malefic planets, you really have to be careful to not try to escape, like escapism within drugs, liquor, sex, things like that. These people with the Mars too as well can be over sexualized, and it's like they don't even realize, like, kind of, it's just like they kind of just escaping, and it's like you have to bring yourself back down and kind of just like maybe you meditate, maybe you listen to frequencies and do things that will be beneficial to you and not hindering to you and not hurting you. Okay. um Excuse me. Ugh. Also with this, you guys need to dive deep into creative ways, because of the heavy energy, if you don't put it in somewhere that's a healthy area, it can easily become into those toxic escapism. So you want to put it into. Yes, yes, that's another thing about it too. You guys would get into like the fantasies, and y'all good writers as well. But you have to dive into creative ways like painting. Maybe you like she said, as a test, writing books and things like that. That would really help. Um, Even just reading stories and like reading like fantasy things that are like not real, like fantasy type of books and things like that. Also, you guys can have super active dreams. So in the dreams, like you could be fighting people, or like you feel like you're living just like that Pluto placement though too. You welcome, you so welcome. You could feel like you're living like you're more so, your dreams are more real than real life. um and also too, you could have suppressed anger from past traumatic experiences. And also with this placement, it could be past life experiences, trauma that you're dealing with right now, and you don't know, you don't have no answers, you don't have reasons to why you're feeling the trauma, but you know you feel it because it came from your past life. Okay, so where am I at? And you guys can attract physical and verbally yes, you guys can attract physical and verbally abusive partners and others. So that is why it's really important to heal yourself and to understand that, like, really love yourself so that you can attract the correct physical, like, attract the right people in your life. Also, this is a placement too where these people have amazing sex. They are really great. Like on like top tier. Like people be like, they might have sex with you and they're like, oh my god, I never did these things before, and things like that. Also too, these people could be overspenders. Definitely give detective vibes. Pluto too. Detective vibes, like figuring out, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna know, like I'm gonna get the answers. Yes, it'd be so crazy that when you look at your chart, all this stuff be adding up. That's why I said when I looked, I'm like, how they know I had this in my chart? Let me plug my phone up. We can't die. We gotta get this rolling. Okay. Okay, where am I at? Okay, and then two, you may struggle with overstepping boundaries. In the past life, you could have been killed in a very violent way. So you could have been shot, stabbed, hit by a car. Also with this placement, you could have went through like really brutal sexual experiences. So in your sexual life, it could have started off as like you could have really just been, and even now, like you could be not open to sex, or you don't feel like you may be good in a good partner, a good sexual experience, but you may not feel all the way like the love and the goodness, you know what I mean, the oneness and the tantric type of, you may not feel those things because you had a lot of trauma in a past life. Also with this placement, you could be misunderstood often, triggered to go off on people, so you have to find a healthy outlet. Could be very impulsive, Could be aggressive, you guys thrive in solo situations. Um, but really with this placement, you guys really need to know, like, in your past life, it was about war. So it's like you guys went through a lot. So it's like you really have to tone it down and love on yourself and heal from that energy, because whether we know it or not, these things transfer into this life. Like with me with the Pluto placement, like I used to feel deep pain and deep sadness, and it's like I really didn't have no really reason in this life to explain the shit. I don't know how to explain it, but I used to feel deep sadness, like, and it's like it's just what comes with this, what comes with your placement. So you have to just work with it and heal it and love on yourself. Also, in this life, you will constantly be tested, because of everything that you went through in your past life. And also, too, in the past life, you could have been fighting for rights, been a soldier. Also, too, with this placement, your own anger can scare you. Like, you can be scared by your own anger and not even, like, you're kind of like, oh my God, like, you don't even realize that when you go off or whatever on these tangents and things like that, it's just like, whoa, like, you're like, oh, I don't like that. I can't believe I did all that. I can't believe I'm just got like that. You know what I mean? Also, too, you can have a war within yourself. So that's another thing, too, that you need to heal and find self-love and kind of get yourself into a place where you understand these things so that you can love on yourself and love yourself through it, because you guys could be going through a war within. And that's another reason, too, why you have to be careful who's around you, because they could be projecting some fucked up energy towards you, and you're taking it in and kind of judging yourself and putting yourself in this place of like, you're not good enough or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, no, heal that. Know yourself. Be very aware of yourself, okay? Because you guys can be your worst enemy if you're not in a healed state. Also, we talked about that. So also, too, you guys can appear passive aggressive. So whenever you guys feel things, you really have to get it out. We talked about that earlier, too, like the suppressed emotions. Whatever you guys are feeling, you have to get it out. You have to release it. You have to let things go. Don't hold on to things, because it's too much with this Mars placement. Yes. Now, these people too, your spiritual lifestyle is going to be very beneficial. Like, spirituality with this placement as well is going to be so beneficial. Like, especially with that stellium you have, like, you have to find your spirituality. Whatever it is for you, however you resonate with your spirituality, it's going to be so beneficial for you. And it's when you're going to find most peace in this lifetime. Also, you guys can be gifted in things that require strength. You can be really great athletes, sports and things like that. Also, too, your mother could have been, because this house deals with your mom, your mother could have been scared to bring you in this world. Or you might not have been planned, or maybe they were having second thoughts about it. And then also, too, it's often angels guiding you and protecting you along the way. With this placement, know that you have angels guiding you on this path, because this placement is such a heavy energy. You have angels and spiritual. Oh my God, for real. Yes, it'd be so accurate. It's so crazy. But yes, you guys have to know that you have angels and you have spirit guides that are guiding you and protecting you along the way. All right, so let's do moon in the 12th house. So moon in the 12th house is extremely intuitive. You know, your moon rules over your emotions and things like that. So with the moon here, you guys will have a all-knowing sense. Like, you guys will be so intuitive. Like, when I say intuitive, and then even your emotions with this placement, you have to be really careful, because the people that you're around, their energies can easily transfer to you. You can easily be feeling things that are other people's emotions and not even realize it. You can like, and then it's like, it may not happen instant with the moon in the 12th house. It may not even happen instant, but you can like you can go around somebody and y'all chilling, y'all vibing, maybe it's a group of people. You go home and next thing you know you're feeling sad and you're like, why am I feeling like this? Because somebody's energy has transferred to you. Exactly, it's delayed. And you won't even realize that, especially if you're not in tune and you don't know, you're not in tune with your own energy and you think maybe it's me. Or you have to really know with this placement, you have to really be aware of the people around you because they could be projecting as well. Especially with the moon right here, people will constantly project their low vibrational thoughts on you and things like that. So even like when y'all go to grocery stores, when y'all go to public settings, people will naturally project these things onto you. So you guys have to be able to cleanse yourself, know how to clear the energy out, know what's yours and what's not. And that all comes from you guys knowing yourself first, okay? Also, you guys can be very nurturing to others, but find it hard to be aware, like I said before, of your own emotions and two, of your own needs. You're so nurturing to others. You're so nurturing and you give into others. But with the moon in the 12th house, we know the 12th house, hidden things are hidden. So you may not know of your own needs. You may think you're meeting your own needs. And then in actuality, you're neglecting yourself but nurturing the next person because you don't know, okay? Also too, for you guys, it could be hard to express emotions. And it's not that you don't want to or whatever the case may be, but it's like you don't know how to, because you don't know until you really heal and connect with yourself and understand and take time alone is really vital with this placement as well. Taking time alone to process through the different feelings and things that you feel. That way, once you take that time alone, you'll be able to identify what's yours, what's your triggers, what boundaries you need to make, what boundaries you need to set. And in that, you can be able to be like, okay, well, I'm aware of my emotions and I can express my emotions fluidly because I took time alone to sit with them to realize what they actually were, okay? Okay. Excuse me. Also with this placement, you guys are very in tune with the needs of others. Very in tune. This is a very spiritual placement too. Very intuitive, like the occult and things like that. Tarot readers, all the unconventional ways that are not the norm, you guys definitely will resonate with. Trying to spend time understanding your emotions. We talked about that. Now, like we talked about, boundaries are going to be so important for this one as well because this is your top 3 and your moon is a very important sign. And you guys also, as the moon is changing and going through all its phases, you guys can constantly be feeling. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. But yeah, as the moon goes through different phases and things like that, you guys will definitely be going through different phases and going through different emotions and healing and different type of whatever the moon is in. With the moon sign in the 12th house, you really need to pay attention to it because it could be a lot of subconscious things that are going on that you're not realizing, but you can connect it. If you look at the moon, you realize what's going on, and then you could kind of take your time alone to isolate and think about in your subconscious mind. Well, think about in your conscious mind, what could it be coming from your subconscious mind that you need to deal with, or however the case may be. So yeah, have strong boundaries. You naturally absorb other people's energy. We talked about that. So yeah, you really have to be careful with who you surround yourself with, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with other healed individuals and high vibrational individuals so that they don't take down your energy. And then also with this placement, this is another placement where you may have to parent your own parents sometimes, like, and it's just like you won't even understand it. You're like, what is going on? Like, but you may have to parent your own parents with this placement as well, and really kind of like walk them through some things in life. Okay, I'm going to go to Venus in the 12th house. So Venus in the 12th house, when you guys love, or what we know Venus is about, love and fortune, fame, good things in life, the luxuries, blase, blase. Look into Venus if you want like a deeper understanding. But so with it being in the 12th house, those things are hidden. Those things are unseen, right? So when people in the 12th house, when y'all love, y'all don't look at the physical. You love unconditionally, and you love to love. This is like one of the most powerful placements that you could have within, like, as in being a lover, because you love so deep. Now you may attract people that need your help and need healing, and may try to take advantage. So with this placement, you really have to be discerning in this lifetime. Yeah, really have to be discerning, because in this lifetime you'll be healing a lot of people. And also too, like, you're such a big lover with this placement, where it's like you'll kind of be blinded, like just like with the other Pluto placement, like you might just see the good in others, but it's going to be stronger with the Venus, because you're just gonna overly love, and you're giving this raw, beautiful love to people that just may not deserve it, or people that may not have worked for it enough, you know what I mean? um So yeah, you could attract people that need your help, or attract people that need healing. Also with this placement too, like, you could be seeing people that might try to take advantage of you. Like, they want to, you maybe end up like giving them a lot of money in relationships, and doing a lot, being the partner that's doing more in the relationship. So you really have to find that balance. And also too, think about this: the Venus has been through all the houses. So it's like, you are also in this lifetime, everybody that you're attracting in this lifetime, more than likely, everybody that you're attracting in this lifetime is somebody from your past life. So it's like it may feel like a soulmate. It may feel like such a strong connection, but it's because you already dealt with them in your past life. And it's not to say that maybe they are a soulmate, but we have multiple soulmates. So it's not just because they're a soulmate doesn't mean that you need to just get them this unwavering love. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, don't get taken advantage of. Have discernment, and pay attention to what, like, is it an equal give and take? Are we both giving? Are we both giving? Am I over giving? Like, you have to be really careful with that placement, because it's like people will really be trying to take advantage of you, because they'll see your good heart. And like, this is like the rawest of love. Like, you're gonna be, and you may not even realize that you're giving this real, unfiltered, unconditional love, because it's blind to you. You know what I'm saying? So also too, you can be blind to a lot of shit in relationships. Like, you may think this person is this, and that, and then you come down and it's a year later and they ain't got no job, they ain't got this, they ain't got no car, and the reality is harsh. It's like, but what, you know what I mean? But it's because your Venus is hidden. It's hidden. And then too, when you think about Venus, it's like, you just really got to understand that with the love being hidden. Yes, but the good thing about y'all is that y'all are gonna get the love of y'all life. Y'all are gonna find, y'all are in this lifetime, y'all are gonna find that lover that's just gonna be like, oh my God, like, that's the good thing about this. Like, but y'all gonna go through a whole bunch of shit first. Like, it's just gonna be a whole bunch of shit. But it's like, in this lifetime, y'all will find that love of y'all life, that person that's just like, but two is gonna be that, like, because you guys are the type that will write, like, y'all will write a list of how y'all want y'all person to be, and y'all got y'all checklist, and y'all got, you know what I mean, like, this is the type of person I want. But y'all gonna realize that it's nobody's perfect. So Venus in 12th house really has to realize that nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna really just meet up to the checklist and be this perfect human being. But you find somebody that you could work with, you know what I'm saying? But two, at the same time, discernment. Find somebody that is meeting certain levels where, you know, okay, the love is matched. Maybe they don't look where I had my standards at. Maybe their money is not exactly where I want it to be, or maybe this, but they're doing something. They have something. They have a regular. They work hard at their job. They do this. They do, like, you guys have to keep away from the superficiality of love, like, and not to look into You need to have this. You need to do this. You need to, because you guys will get those things, and then that person will be missing something. And then you go to the next person, they'll have the things that that person didn't have, but they'll be missing this. So with that Venus, you have to be careful. Two, stay away from being clingy, and really, even though you have your boundaries, make sure that you get clear on your boundaries. Make sure that you speak your boundaries, and make sure that, because you guys can easily be people will try to easily wave you out of your boundaries, you know what I mean, in little trickster manipulative ways. So you have to make sure that you are really firm on them. Where am I at? And then also, like we said, make sure that you are still looking at, yes, make sure that you are still looking at the reality of how people are. And that is like the thing about this placement. Like, I want to meet a Venus in 12th house because I'm a big lover, and like, I just love people that can reciprocate that type of energy. But you guys have to just be really careful because a lot of people can't. And you guys can be very self-sacrificing. So with this placement, I always say too to make sure that you put your needs first. Like, you, because you may easily just put your shit on the back burner, and it's like, no, Venus in the 12th house. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. Go get your hair cut. Go take care of yourself. Go nurture yourself. Go do these things for yourself, because you can naturally be self-sacrificing. So be a little selfish. Be a little selfish, because you may think you're being selfish, but you're not. You need to do that. Like, that type of thing. Excuse me. Also, you guys can attract unemotional partners. You might attract third-party situations or have secret love affairs, secret relationships. Like, you may be in a serious relationship and you love that person, but then it's like you secretly really unhappy in a relationship and you want to leave it, but then you don't. So you may go off on a side relationship, like things like that, because you like, you know what I mean? You may prefer casual relationships sometimes instead of deeply committed relationships, because people, because you have so much to give, it's hard for you to find people on your level. And that's what we're talking about too. It's really hard for you to find a match type of love, a matched energy. Also, you guys can be really good counselors. You guys have really good conversation. You guys could be addicted to sex. Like, you guys could love sex, love having sex, and it's like you guys love the passion of it. Like, and it's just like you just love that, you know, that moment. And you guys too can really be so, like, even like with Mars and Pluto, they have great sex and things like that. But you guys are super connected in the sexual experience. Like, you kissing on them, loving on, like, it's like a deep, like, you guys make it deep. You know what I mean? And then also, everyone in their life will be someone that they were connected to in past life. We talked about that. Their good thing is that they will ultimately find the love of their life. Yeah, like, you guys will really find, like, when y'all end up settling down the line, like, it's going to be, and normally, since this is a karmic house, it's probably going to be after 28 to 32. Like, after that age, you guys will find somebody that's the one. But when you find them, it's just going to be like this beautiful, like love experience. Like, and it may not just be the fairy tale, but it's going to feel like the fairy tale, okay? You guys really value time and loyalty. Also, too, you guys can have a tendency to overspend on clothes, shoes, like looks and things like that, or things, even just like food, like high-end food and things like that, classy restaurants. Like, you guys like that high-end stuff. Yes, it's coming. It's on the way. Period. Also, too, where did you say your Saturn was in there too? Or look where your Saturn is too. But yeah, so you guys could overspend on looks and things like that. And like, two, now, if you are dealing with somebody that's a Venus in the 12th house, and like, that is crazy. If you're dealing with somebody that's in the 12th house, Venus 12th house, and like, if they cheat, or like, say if you was to cheat on somebody that's a Venus in the 12th house, people don't realize that, like, with a Venus in the 12th house, they're not going to do anything to their partner that their partner would know of, that if they cared about their partner. So if you're dating a Venus in the 12th house and you know they're cheating, they're done. They don't care about you. They're moving on to the next one, because they're very secretive. They're very in the wraps, and if they want you to know, you'll know. If they don't want you to know, you won't know. So that's another thing too. If you're dating a Venus in the 12th house and you know that, I'll be doing 4th house too. So we're gonna look into your Saturn return too. That'll tell you about how you're gonna go. But if you're dating a Venus in the 12th house and you know that they're cheating, or you know, like, they making you feel some type of way, they're more than likely over you, and they're about to be on to the next. Because Venus in the 12th house, they're gonna show their love, and they're not gonna let you know anything else but their love if they really care about you. Okay. All right. So next is Saturn in the 12th house. So we know Saturn rules over discipline, restrictions, and the ruler. Like, I ain't gonna say I hate Saturn, but I don't really fuck with Saturn like that. Like, Saturn is the rule. Like, you gotta do it this way. And even the Saturn energy we got going on now, where we gotta do things in line, and you can't do anything halfway. You gotta do everything step by step by step. You can't skip no step. That type of energy. So it's in the 12th house. So this can make you feel like you don't have any help, or you could feel a deep lost feeling, especially when it comes to faith and spirituality in the beginning stages of life. So with Saturn in the 12th house, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, for real. That warmed my heart. So with Saturn in the 12th house, and that's going to be a series. I'm going to go through all the houses. The next one's going to be the 7th house, because it's the house of projection. And I really want to talk about that with you guys, because it's like, it's about who we are, who we really are, that we don't realize that we are. Like, it's like who we think we, like, mine is in Gemini, and like I always say, I don't like Geminis, but it's the projection that I'm projecting, because it's deep. We're gonna talk about that 7th house though next, and then we're gonna do I'm gonna go through all the houses. But yeah, so with the Saturn, you can feel like you don't have any help or deep lost feelings, especially when it comes to faith and spirituality in the beginning stages of life. With this Saturn right here, the quicker you find a faith, the quicker you find some type of higher calling, higher being, and things like that, meditations, like anything that deals with spirituality, it will be very beneficial, because you're just going to feel really limited. Exactly. Exactly. See, we don't care for that, but we don't even realize it's us. We don't even know that it's really, like, we really just the social butterflies or whatever. Like, oh, do you got me on Instagram? If you got me on Instagram, you need to DM me, because we need to talk about that 7th house. But yeah, you guys, so you can feel like you don't have any help and things like that. And it's like, with that Saturn right there, it's just making you feel that way. It's just hidden. Your help and things like that is just hidden. It's there. You just have to tap into it. Also, stay away from being pessimistic. So with Saturn in the 12th house, you can find yourself being too over of a realist, and just too kind of like trying to make things plain or what it is. And things are not cut and dry, first of all, okay? Things are not cut and dry with the Saturn in the 12th house. Spirituality is real. And then too, like, in the early stage of life, you could even just not even believe in spirituality, not even believe in higher things than you. But you have to find that. You really have to find that, because it can make you really pessimistic and really doubting to just the good things in life. Okay, boo, thank you so much. I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, so you really got to stay away from being pessimistic with that Saturn there, because it's just naturally giving that nasty ass Saturn energy, okay? And even too, I definitely recommend to go look into Saturn on a deeper level if you have it in the 12th house, because it's a strong energy, and it could be pushing you away from your spirituality when you need to be pushed to your spirituality, especially if you're under the age of like 32, and you're in your 20s and you're trying to figure things out, and Saturn is just making you feel like spirituality isn't real, or whatever the case may be. And it's just like, no, spirituality is real, and it's going to benefit you guys a lot. Also, Be patient with your spirituality. With Saturn here, you could be like I talked about the realist thing, but you could be trying to force your understanding or force it's just like spirit is kind of like, let things flow naturally. It's a journey, it's a process, and understand that, especially with Saturn right here. Wherever you have Saturn, understand that it's a journey, understand that it's a process, and it's not just a one answer thing. It's not just it's deeper than that, okay? Um, excuse me, hold on. With Saturn here as well, you may be super isolated because your world that you have created in your mind is so different and on a deeper level because of Saturn. So you could be having you could have created this own little reality in your own mind, and it's like you almost are really in tune with yourself, but almost sometimes it could be too in tune with yourself to where you're not entertaining others, you're not talking to people, you just by yourself and deep thought about spiritual shit, and you just kind of just, you know what I'm saying, like them people that's just like questioning shit, like, well, why does the star blink like just stuff like that, like Saturn type of energy in the 12th house. Also too, overly taking blame in your life about things that you really can't control. Like you may blame yourself for a lot of things and that you really can't control, that you really have no control of. Something that you can't even fix it, but you feel like, oh well, you just try to rationalize it. And it's just like with Saturn here in a place of spirituality and hidden things and mystical, it's not always a cut and dry answer to these things. It's not always cut and dry. A lot of things happen and we don't know why. It's a spiritual thing. It's just a spiritual sign, or is this? But you guys want to figure it out. Okay, well, what? Like, everything not going to have a breakdown. Just take the downloads you got and go with your download, okay? With the Saturn in the 12th house. Also, too, like, really don't beat yourself up. Like, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up with this placement. Also, too, don't beat yourself up with forcing yourself to be so far into your spirituality than you actually are. Like I said, allow the journey to take its process. Allow it to know that it's a journey. It's a process. It's not overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. You will really, and then too with this, the great thing about this is that, and it's around your Saturn return, so like 28 to 32, 35 at the latest. It depends. Look at your chart and figure out when your Saturn return is. But you will really master your purpose in this lifetime, which is going to be spirituality. Like you're really going to master it to a extent that people will never master their spirituality. You guys could end up being spiritual leaders, talkers, public figures in the spiritual aspect, pastors, preachers, priestess, maybe even high, like in E5, Santeria type of things. You could be really, really high up into voodoo and things like you can really get deep and take it to the next level, and you're not going to be on a basic level. Like, no, you're going to be the leader, okay? And you're very structured in your spirituality, and you will be able to teach others, and you will have a big following and audience, okay? Hold on, y'all, my mouth is dry. Hold on 1 second. All right. So we are almost through there. We got Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus. So, that water did what it needed to do. Period. Okay, so Uranus. So Uranus is, think about Aquarius, is different, like the explorer, doing things a different way than the norm. Figuring, especially with that Aquarius full moon we just had, like that was some intense energy on another level. That Aquarius energy, I'm an Aquarius moon, and I'm like, like very much aloof and into figuring out different ways and kind of learning different things, and the humanitarian type of energy, like that Aquarian type of energy. So with Aquarius in the 12th house, you guys will be into different and eccentric thing. You guys will be into different and eccentric things. And the unconventional things. So you guys are definitely gonna be like my tarot readers, um, my my people that's doing things that are not regular, into the spirituality but deep. You may read palms, you may do the pendulum readings, you may do things like you may even, especially this too, you may even like channel messages from spirit and just give it to your audience, and you guys are blessed with that, okay? And in different ways, like you guys will be able to translate spiritual messages in different ways. You guys may get spiritual messages from just doing one random thing, but you get a spiritual download from it that other people may not have got a spiritual download from it, but because you got that Aquarian Uranus energy going on, it comes to you in a different way and you figure it out. And it's really like a special type of placement with that Uranus right there. Whew, excuse me. You guys will be deeply into the metaphysical, having a strong need to gather information on the spiritual aspects that you need to share with others. So with this placement, you could be heavily drawn to learning about spirituality, learning about the ins and outs of it. You might want to use a huge, can't talk, but y'all know I'm talking about Ouija board or whatever. You guys may be drawn into deep into the spirituality realm, like just wanting to do every little aspect and understand every little crevice and crack. And essentially, you guys will really benefit from spreading the things that you learn through your spirituality, spreading the knowledge that you receive, because you guys are going to get the spiritual downloads and talking to your ancestors and all that. You guys are going to do it in a different way. And you guys may unlock new ways to teach other people how to do it, to where it's like, wow, like they're like, oh, I never knew I could tap into my ancestors like that, or tap into my angels and spirit guides like that. But Aquarius in the 12th house showed me that we could do this like this and do this like that and figure it out like that. Also, you are here to heal the world, okay? You are here to heal the world. Seriously. Aquarius in 12th house, you are here to heal the world. Regular things are not going to resonate with you. You're not going to want to do regular activities, day-to-day basis. Like, no. You're going to want to get those spiritual downloads and feed them to your audience. YouTube probably would definitely be very, very, very beneficial for you if you just go on there and wake up every day and talk about what you dreamed about and what you got from it. Beneficial. People are going to be drawn to you. People are going to like it. People are going to get something from it, because you may not realize the downloads that you're getting. You may think they're for yourself, but when you start to share them, then you start to see your audience come in and just like, you're going to be like, oh my God, like I thought this was just for me, but it's for thousands, millions, and trillions of people, because that's what you were put in this world for, to share your downloads and to heal the world through your downloads. It's really a beautiful placement. I love this placement so much. If you're Aquarius, all y'all, first of all, everybody comment down below y'all placements, but I love this. I need me Aquarius and a 12th house friend, so tell me what Spirit's trying to tell us, please. I need to know. I need to know. And then also, too, you guys may have weird sleep patterns, strong daydreams, strong dreams. Like your dreams are going to be super, super strong. And your daydreams. Like you guys have to really, the things that you guys dream of and like daydream about, like you got to share these things. Because it's like, it's not just for you, Aquarius in the 12th house. It is for everybody. Well, Uranus in the 12th house. These things that you're getting, these downloads that you're getting, this is for everybody, okay? These are for everybody. Everybody needs to know the downloads, that if you have Uranus in your 12th house, it's for everyone. You have to share with the world, because you're going to heal the world with your downloads, which the things that you receive. You may even get things from your ancestors, and it's going to help thousands. It's going to help a lot of people. So make sure that you share your downloads and you're giving back to this world your beautiful spiritual energy, because that's what you came here for, to heal people through that, okay? The next one is going to be Neptune in the 12th house. So we all know Neptune is going to be at its home, the Piscean energy. Pisces is ruled by Neptune. So with the Neptune right here, you really going to have to be careful with the escapism again, and careful of staying in the fantasy too much and longing. You guys long to retreat. You guys love your alone time. You have to be really careful of just kind of being alone too much or trying to escape the world and things like that. You guys are going to be highly intuitive, very spiritual. Once you find your spirituality, it's going to be very beneficial to you. And it's really going to take you to your next level in life. Your spirituality is your life. You guys probably, even at a young age, deeply connected to some type of faith, spirituality, maybe super religious, whatever the case may be. But you guys always knew from a young age that there was a deeper meaning to this world. You knew that you were here for deeper things. Like, you guys will be really drawn to connecting with the universe. And it's going to be something that's going to be pressing on your heart. Like, you want to figure it out. You want to know. You want to get in tune with spirit. It's something that is deep down inside of you. And when you start to do it, you're going to realize, like, wow, this is what I was supposed to be doing. This is what I've been supposed to do. So, yeah. Also, you guys are really going to be drawn to, I said that already, you can really get strong downloads and visions. So with this placement too, like a That's So Raven type of thing, like you could be in public and see things and dreams, and you'll be in a car driving and you might see something, or really strong with this placement. Ooh, it's been a lot of talking. Okay. With this placement, so you have to be really careful of hiding from things. You guys are so deep in the 5D and in the spiritual that when it comes to the 3D, you guys can kind of hide from your problems, escape, not want to deal with regular mundane things and regular life things, and that's okay. You just have to find the balance, because I resonate with that too with my Pluto. Like, I don't like it here. Like, I like it here. I love it here. But I want to be up here on the spiritual plane more so than I do want to be on the 3D. I want to be on the 5D more. And you guys feel that on an even deeper level. Okay? It can be overwhelming too. So you must meditate and practice finding awareness and finding mindfulness. Mindfulness and practicing awareness is going to be very beneficial to you guys with this placement, because it's just going to be naturally easy for you to be caught up in the fantasy, caught up in the illusions, caught up in all the things and the downloads that you're getting. You're going to be seeing so many different things and you might be hearing different things, hearing voices and seeing things and seeing spirits and seeing things that other people don't see. And it's like, you got to find a way to balance these things, okay? It's really important too with this placement to know who you are, okay? Know who you are. That way you can set your healthy boundaries and really get clear on what people are allowed to do to you, what they can't do to you, what, you know what I'm saying? How much time that you need to spend with people, and then how much time that you need to spend alone. How many days a week can you be around others, and then how many times do you really just need to be to yourself? Also too, you guys can be into different cultures, poetry, art. You can read, and you guys can read people very well from the beginning. So you guys may meet somebody, and in the first 10 minutes or the first sitting with this person, you kind of really get a gist of the person. Like, you guys have really, really good judgment off of just the first time meeting somebody. You'll be able to see right through them and really get a all-knowing feeling of who they are, what they like what their true intentions are and things like that. Like, you guys will be able to see that very easily. Also with this placement, you could be a medium, really able to tap into the spiritual realm on that level as well. You could be deeply interested in hidden things and afterlife things. And a lot of things that people might want to call dark, you may really love to explore and travel those realms and learn about those things and really get an understanding, and that's beneficial for you. And know that, don't let other people decide what's good for you and try to make you feel bad because you're not liking the norm. No, that's your norm. Neptune, you have Neptune in the 12th house. That is something that's going to really resonate with you. Those are things that are going to really stick with you, really be something that's going to make you money, things that are going to really help you to be thriving in your life. Also, too, you could have not psychic, but psyche disorders. People may try to say you have different mental disorders. Honestly and truly, it could just be your deeply spirituality, and it's like, and you may have, it could just be that you haven't formed the correct boundaries, so it's triggering you to act a certain way or do a certain thing because you can't physically take the pressure or whatever's being put on you. Okay, so with this placement, if you have been diagnosed with like bipolarness or things like that, and this is no way, shape, or form, always go to a doctor first because I don't want YouTube to fight me. But okay, look into those things and see, do I really even have that, or do I just need to build healthy boundaries and I'm totally fine with healthy boundaries now? You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, and then also too, you guys could be prone to want to work in hospitals, nurses and things like that, doctors. Also, too, you will talk to your ancestors very easily and other spirits. You will be easily in tune with talking to your ancestors, talking to spirits, talking to things like that. You know that you're not alone. You know that somebody's taking care of you on the other realm. You know that it's not just you. Like you have that deep knowing. Also, too, you could have a lot of emotional trauma from past lives in this life, and really can feel that. So you have to make sure that you're expressing yourself, letting things out, and making sure that you're not suppressing emotions. Also, too, your family could make you feel unwanted or label you the problem child, whether you know it or not. So, like, a lot of times our family has things about us, and they call, like, you know how people just group you within the family and things like that, and you may not know that they're making it seem like you're the problem child or whatever the case may be, but they could be saying that behind your back, or you could actually feel it. You probably do feel it though, because your intuition, you could feel that you feel unwanted or things like that. You may have felt that as a child, and it's only because they just don't get it. They don't get you. You're deep. You're in another level. You're in a, like, most of the time you're in the 5D. So in the 3D, you may look like you're not connecting, you're not here, but you are. They just don't see it. Okay. Excuse me. Also, you guys are hypersensitive. Now, when I say sensitive, I don't mean like weak or emotional or like over emotional and things like that. Hypersensitive as in, you guys are so in tune with this Neptune. When you go to different places, like say if you go to a house that's haunted or an area, you guys are gonna know, you're gonna feel it because you're hypersensitivity, not because you're over emotional or things like that. Like, no, you feel things on another level that everybody else can't feel it on. I'm trying to get a clearer it's still bright. But yeah, you guys feel things on a deeper level that most people really, they don't see things on that level. They don't get that. They don't really connect on that level. People try to get to the level that you do, and you just naturally are there. Okay, so it's really a blessing. Be careful with who you're around because people are constantly projecting, and it can affect you on a really deep level. Okay, with this placement, you have to be super careful. Like, you guys need to only be around people that are healed. And honestly, it's hard to know who's healed, right? But we know if we heal ourselves and we get ourselves in alignment with the vibrations and the energies that we want to attract, we will attract those things. So it's very imperative that you guys heal yourself. I have a heal yourself video up as well. But really heal yourself and work on those things and those child traumas and past life traumas and things like that. So that when you do attract people, you attract people at a healed aspect.